Right, good afternoon. So today we have to continue that grade 10 unit, particular unit, because we have something to be completed in grade 10, right? So let's take this unit number 7, right? Spreadsheet software. As I told you earlier, that is very important for your final exam. And also we had a small introduction for spreadsheet. So let's take some time to recall the things which we learned, right? So at the beginning, I explained about the purpose of spreadsheet, right? The purpose of spreadsheet software. Here the reason for having or using spreadsheet is calculation, right? Performing calculation. There may be more than one reasons, but the major reason is performing calculation. At the same time, spreadsheet can be used for analyze the data because it has charts. So with the help of the charts, data can be analyzed. So, but that main purpose is performing calculation, right? So remember that is the main purpose. Right. After that, we took some of the features available in a spreadsheet, right? So we discussed about features. Features or facilities of spreadsheet, right? So for performing calculations, these spreadsheet softwares have functions, and also they have charts, and also there may be some filtering facilities because data can be filtered, and also as the other application softwares, spreadsheet also has some of the common features like printing, saving, right, like spelling and grammar checking. So we have so many facilities, but I have mentioned these three important things: filtering facility, function for performing calculations, and also charts for analyzing the data, right? After that, we move to spreadsheet, example for spreadsheets, right? We took some example for spreadsheets. Right, so there are a number of softwares used as spreadsheet. So we have Microsoft Excel. There is another one called LibreOffice Calc, even OpenOffice Calc there. We have numbers from Apple, right? We have Lotus 123. We have VisiCalc. So there are a number of spreadsheet softwares used. At least remember 2 or 3 examples because they are very useful in answering MCQs, right? After that, we started to discuss MS Excel. Okay, so I explain about the GUI first, because when it comes to GUI, there are components, right? Whatever GUI you have, there should be components. So the GUI of Excel has so many components we discussed, right? So that is the first one, components. Right. At the same time, I explain about workbook and worksheet, or even sometimes called book worksheet, right? So once Excel is open, it means it's a book, right? A book is open. A book has sheets because we need to calculate several things. So definitely you need more than one sheet. So a book has worksheets. That is the relationship between these two. Book, sheet, okay? Workbook and worksheet. Right, so after that we went on to take the worksheet, right? So a worksheet has so many things to be understood. So I explain about columns and rows first, right? The vertical components in a worksheet are columns. The horizontal things in a worksheet are rows, right? So we discuss about them. And also we discussed about cells, right? So cell is an intersection of a column and row. So when a column and row are intersected, there is a cell formed, right? So a sheet has so many cells, so there is always a need for identifying each cell, right? So we have cell addresses. Every cell has its own unique cell address, right? So whenever we write a cell address, we must write the column letter followed by a row number, right? You need to write the column letter which first, right? Because the cell represents a column and also a row. So write the column, then row number, column letter and row number, right? This is how cell address is written, right? So apart from these things, we learn some of the other things too. I will show them directly, then only you can understand. Right, so every every small box is a cell that belongs to a column and a row. Okay, so there is always there is always a cell address. So look at the highlighted cell now. It belongs to the column B and also it belongs to the second row, so it must be B2, right? B2. If it is first cell, it belongs to the A column and also it is in the first row, A1, right? So this is how addresses are written, right? Then we also mention a name for this dark black border, right? See, you can see a black border around that particular cell. This is called cell pointer because this can point the cell. So this is cell pointer. If a cell is pointed, it means that cell is in active state. So what does active means? So if I write something or if I type something, now it will be in active cell. So now look at the cell pointer. It is in B3. So if I type something, definitely it is in B3 because B3 is the active cell. Okay. So don't forget active cell is important. At the same time, the cell address of that active cell is displayed in this area called name box. Okay, so you can see the name box there. This is the name box. So I select D4 now, right? D4, this is the active cell because cell pointer is placed. So now look here, it is D4 because this shows the active cell address. Okay, remember that name box. Name box is there in order to show the active cell address. Active cell means the cell which is selected at the moment. Okay, so that is active cell. Right, then I also explain about cell range, right? Look here, the adjacent cells. So maybe the cells which are placed continuously can be taken as cell range. Look here, we have selected 3 cells. All these three cells are nearby cells. They are in a horizontal manner. So this is a cell range. So when we write a cell range, there is a format followed, right? So how to write that particular cell range? So look here, the cell range starts from B2. So write the B2 first. Then you don't need to write the other cells, right? So you can put a colon symbol, right? That is to mark colon. And finally, put the last cell in your range, last cell address in your range. So here, this cell range can be written as B2, right? B2 colon D2. So if it is this one, see now this range has many cells. In fact, it has 5 cells where that range starts here, A3, right, colon. You don't need to write B3, C3, D3 because they are in the range, so there is no need. So A3 colon, where it ends, E3. So A3 colon E3. Okay, so these cells are placed in horizontal manner. Even cell range can be found vertically. Look, have a look at this cell range. This is also cell range because this has cells closer, right? We have neighboring cells, but now the cells are in a vertical manner. So here the range starts from at A2, right? The cell range starts at A2, where it ends A6. So how can we write the cell range now? A2 colon A6, because all these cells are in the A column, but they are in different rows. So it starts from A2 and it ends at A6. So A2 colon A6. Even I explain about this also. This is also cell range, but here cells are in 2 different rows and also in 3 different columns, right? Earlier we took only 1 row, but now they are in 2 different rows. This is also cell range. So where the cell range starts here on the left top corner, right? So here the range starts. So it starts at B2, right? B2. Where it ends, the bottom right corner. This is the last cell, right? So D3. So this range can be written as B2 colon D3. I take another one. Have a look at this one. So here also we have number of cells in the range. This is a range, right? So here the cell range starts at this point, which means it starts at C2. And also it ends here, right? Don't forget right bottom corner. So here it ends D6. So C2 colon D6. So these are the things which we discussed, okay, in the previous classes. So today I have to explain the different types of data entered in cells. Did I explain such thing in the other day in the previous class? Different types of data entered in a cell. Have I used such words like label, value?
No, sir.
No, right? Okay. Right. So let's take another one. Data entered in cells. Right? Data which can be entered in a cell. Everyone knows that cell is there for having data. We can type whatever we want, but generally 3 types of data can be entered in a cell. Right? We have 3 different data to be entered. The first one I will explain. First one is called label. We have another one called value. And also we have formula. These are the only 3 different data can be entered in a cell, right? We can have labels and also we can have values and formula. So let's take the first one, right? Label. So I will show you here. Right, have a look at this cell. I have selected B2. The present cell, the activated cell is B2. I just want to type something like, right, bet. So I type a small text, bet. And also I want to type another one like bet 6 or something, bet 6. Right? Again I type bet, I put a symbol, right, a hyphen and 6. Look here. This cell B2 has a text. But look at the type of this text. It has letters, English letters. It may be any languages, doesn't matter. It has English letters. So this is text. Everyone knows that it is text. But here in spreadsheet, we used to call such data as labels. So what is label? It is not only text. Of course, text, I mean, letters are there, At the same time, even the data which have text and numbers can be called label. The first one also, that also a label because there are letters. Even BAT6 also called label because it has the combination of letters and number. That is also, of course, what label. Look at the third one that has letters, number. In addition to them, we have a hyphen there, which means symbol. There is no specific or additional data type there. It is also a label. So what is label? It's a combination of letters, numbers, symbols. I'm not trying to say that all the time they must have numbers, text, symbols as a combination. That is not the point which I'm making. Alone text can be labeled. Text plus numbers can be labeled. Even as a mixture, it can have letters, numbers, and symbols. So all these three data belong to label data type. Okay, remember that. So in C2, I type 500. Right, so this cannot be called label because there are no letters. Right, so this is called a value. So numerical figures, only numerical related figures can be called values. Look here in the BAT6, the number is there, but not only number, you have text also there. So when you have text, it should be, it shouldn't be value, right? It should be label. If it is value, it must be related to numerical figures only. So definitely it is a value. But even in this case also, you can't say that it is a value because it has letters plus symbols also. They cannot be taken as values. So what are values? These data are related to numerical figures, right? So 500 should be a particular value, right? And also, have you noted one thing? Look at this data. All these three data take the left side of the column. Look here, look at this cell. So this bat is in the left side. Bat 6 also in the left side. Bat dash 6 also in the left side. So you can't say that it is left side. Use the appropriate word, left alignment, right? Left alignment. Just consider the cell only, right? You don't need to consider the entire worksheet. Have that particular cell. So if it is a cell, if I take a cell, definitely the text is left aligned. Okay, so this is one important conclusion. Labels take left alignment by default. You can change that into right alignment, that is okay, but by default they take left alignment. Look at the value. So value is not in the left side. This is in right side, right? Whatever you type, that must be in the right side. So this is also very important. Values by default take the right alignment. So labels on left side, which means left alignment. Values take right alignment. But of course, we can change them. Even values can be placed on the left side. We can, but by default, which means there are some settings which are kept as standard for computer users. So Microsoft keeps such things as default setting. Whenever you enter something, if it is number, definitely it will be in your right alignment, in your right side, right? If it is label, definitely it is in the left side. It doesn't depend on computers, right? In any computer, it works like this, right? But as a user, you can change them, okay? So I explained about two data. First one label and also second one values. Before I explain the formula, third one, let me show these things. Right? Look here. Letters, numbers, special symbols, or the combination of the above data are called labels. Okay, letters can be numbers or combination. By default, The labels are left aligned. Values. The data with numerical figure are called values. By default, value is right aligned. Okay, you understood. Right. Let's check the third data type called formula. Look here. Equal 60 plus 50. I just type a simple function or something, right? Like an equation equal 60 plus 50. So when I press the enter key, it shows 110. So the one which I entered here is called a formula. The formula in a cell must start with equal symbol, right? And followed by some sort of calculation. So here 60 plus 50. So now I got the 120. Maybe the result is value. Look at that, 110 is not a formula, 110 is a value. That's why it is right aligned. But this is not the one which I'm talking about, right? I'm talking about the data which are entered or which is entered in a cell. So what did I enter? I entered this one. I didn't enter 110. I entered equal 60 plus 50. This is a formula. And also it can be entered in a cell. Earlier, cells had labels and also they had values. But this time, the cell B2 is having a formula, right? So maybe the result of the formula is something different, right? So you can't say that the result is formula. Result can be number, sometimes can be label, right? But we have to talk about that particular data which we enter. So definitely it is a formula. Let me take one more. Equal 60 minus 100. See, this is also a formula. So if I press the enter key, see it shows minus 40. So it worked, right? So it is a formula. And also formula can be written in a different way. Look here. I have 50 here and also 60 here. Let's add these two numbers, right? Let's add these two values. So I'm going to show the result in D2. Okay, so that's why it is selected. Equal. Yes, I can type 50 plus 60. That works. Of course, that is a formula. So rather than typing 50 plus 60, I will use a different idea. Look here, where is 50? Where is 50? It is in B2, right? It is in B2. So type B2. Rather than entering the figure, type the cell which has that figure, right? So where is that 50? It is B2, so B2. Yes, for addition, we use plus, use the plus. Where is that 60? It is in B3, so type B3. Equal B2 plus B3. Now press the enter key. I got the same result. So writing equal 50 plus 60 and also equal B2 plus B3 looks same, right? Because now we don't use the figures directly, we use instead of using the figure, we use the cell address. So what is it? It is also a formula. Okay, so we can have three different things in a cell. Values can be there, labels can be there, and of course we can have formula in cells. Okay, look at this example. The expressions beginning with an equal mark using values, cell addresses, and functions are called formula. See, we have a simple formula there. A1 has 10, B1 has 20. So I want to multiply them. So equal A1 asterisk. For multiplication, we use this symbol. I will explain. So I have to introduce the operators. Wait, I will take them. So this should be a formula. If the enter key is pressed, you know, it will be 200, right? 200 is shown. Okay. So don't forget, these are the three different data entered in cells: label, value, formula. Okay. What about this shortcut keys? Did I explain these shortcut keys? Yes or no?
No, sir.
Okay, look. Right. Right. So it is always good to have shortcut keys because they make our work easy. You know, we have so many shortcut keys. Most of the shortcut keys are common for all the applications. Like, see, if it is print, Control plus P. If it is save, Control plus A. If it is bold, Control plus B. So these are common shortcut keys. There are so many shortcut keys which can be used as common. But when it comes to spreadsheet or when it comes to Excel, you need some shortcut keys. You need some special shortcut keys in order to work within the worksheet. So this is worksheet. We have to move here and there. So we need some special shortcut keys for Excel. So I'm not going to take the common shortcut keys which we use in our day-to-day life, like print or save or write save as. I'm going to I'm going to take some of the shortcut keys specially used in spreadsheet in Excel, right? Okay, let's take them. Right, look here. Right, right, look. So here we are in the first column, A. If I want to go to the last column now, right, last column, which means XFD, I may use the control key with right arrow key, control right arrow. Now you can see here, we are in XFD, which means we are in the last column. Okay, control plus right arrow key takes you to the last column. So I am in the last column. I want to back to the first column, which means A. So now press the control key along with left arrow key, right? Control plus left. Now you are in column A. Okay, so I do it again. So if you press control right arrow, you will be taken to the last column. If you press control left, you will be taken to the first column. Similarly, if you want to go to the last row, right, going to the last row, press the control key with down arrow key. Control key with down arrow key. Okay, so we are in the last row, right? 10,48,576, which is the last row. Again, if you want to go to the top, which means first row, press the control key and up arrow key. Right? Earlier we pressed down. This time it has to be up. Right? So enter up. Now I am in first row. Okay. So it seems that control plus right arrow takes you to the last column. Control plus left arrow takes you to the first column. Control plus up arrow takes you to the first row, and control plus down arrow takes you to the last row. It seems like that, but actually it is not right, right? It is not right. It may be okay when your worksheet is empty. Now look here, my worksheet is empty, nothing inside, no data entered. So when your worksheet do not have anything, right, doesn't have anything, it's fine, it is okay. Control right takes you to the last column, control left takes you to the first column. But when worksheet has data, definitely it must act in a different way, right? Have a look at this. So I type something here in D2, right? There is a data in D2, and also I type something in F2. Okay, right? Look here. Let's listen carefully. So I am in A2. I want to move to the last column, right? Last column. So early I press control right, control key and right arrow key, and I was able to reach the last column. This time, okay, let's press the control and right arrow. Now see, now I'm not in last column, I'm in D2. Okay, right. So let's press the control and right arrow key again. right? Control right arrow again. This time I am in F2. Again, not in last column, I'm in F2. Let's press again, right? Once more. I press control right arrow. This time I am in XFD2, which means last column. So what happened? So control plus right arrow takes you to the right side or right side where a cell has data, right? Maybe the immediate cell which has data. So look here, you are in A2. Definitely control right arrow takes you to the right side, but not to the last column, right? Maybe the immediate column which has data. So look at the cell which has data in the right side. This is the first one. So now you are here in A2. So if you press control right arrow, you will be taken to the first cell in the right side which has data. So this is the cell which has data in the right side. So now you will be there. Again, if you press control and right arrow, right, generally you will be taken to the last column, but not here, because in the right side, F2 is the first cell which has data. So that's why it is taken to F2. But hereafter, if you press control and right arrow, you will be taken to the last column, because now there are no cells have data on the right side, right? All the cells are empty. So now you can be taken to the last column. Have you understood? Okay, now look here. We are in XFD2. XFD2. I'm going to press control left arrow, right? Because I want to move to the left side. So I want to press control left arrow. Generally, control left arrow takes the user to the first column, right? It must be in the left side. But now, yes, it must move towards left side, but it must move towards left side to the cell which has data. So now press control and left arrow. Now I am in F2 because that has a data. You know, when a cell has a data, it must be a barrier. It cannot go beyond that one. So now it is there. I want to press control left arrow again, but look here. Now also I am not in A2. I am in D2 because this cell has data in the left side. But hereafter, no cells have data in the left side. So if I press control left arrow, I can be in A2. Clear? So this is how control right arrow and control left arrow works. Right. And also let's check the control down arrow, control up arrow. Okay, right. Let me type some figure here. Right, okay. I am in D1 now, D1. If I press control and down arrow, I can be taken to the last row, which means D 10,48,576. But that is okay when it comes to blank worksheet. But now this worksheet is not blank, it has data. So when you press control and down arrow, you will be taken to the first cell in the bottom part, in the below part, which has data. So look here, what is the first cell which has data? This one, which means D3, right? So you will be taken to the D3. So let's check it. I press control down arrow. Now look here, I'm in D3. If I press again, I will move towards down, but not to the last one, not to the bottom. I should move to the first cell which has data below, right? So if I press control and down, look here, I'm here. So hereafter, if I press control down, I should be taken to the last row because none of the cells have data hereafter, right? So press the control and down arrow. Now you are at the bottom. Got it? So now let's press the control key and up arrow, right? Up, because I want to go to the top. So earlier when we pressed control up, we were on the top, right? Which means A column, sorry, first row, right? First row. So let's type, press the control and up arrow. this time I'm not in the first row, I'm in the fifth row, because this is the cell which has data in the top side. So here I am. Even if I press again, right? If I press again, control up. Look here, I'm not in D1, I'm in D3, because this may be the immediate cell which has data towards up. And even if I press control up again, now only I can be in the first row, which means D1. Have you understood? So these four combinations, control right arrow, control left arrow, control up, control down, almost same, except the direction, different direction, right? Control right takes you to the right side. Control left takes you to the left side. Control up, up. Control down, down. But the only difference is, if your worksheet is blank, you can be in all the, all the sides, all the extremes, right? But if the worksheet has data, you cannot go to the extremes. You should go to the nearest cell which has data. Okay, so have a look at these definitions or descriptions. Is it here? Control left arrow to move to the next cell which has data in left side. Okay, control right arrow to move to the next cell which has data in the right side. Control down arrow to move to the next cell which has data towards down. Control up arrow to move to the next cell which has data towards up. Okay, so these are the four important shortcut keys. Okay, let's take the other shortcut keys. Right, okay. Right, look. Right. So we have a key called home key, right? Home. You can see that mostly it is there here. I'm using a normal keyboard, right? So look here, this is the home button. So when you press home, look here, I'm in C5 and press the home key, right? Check it, check again. I'm in C5, right? C5 and press the home key. Where am I now? A5, in A5. Let's check again. Now this time I'm in D2. D2, let's press the home key. I'm in A2. Look here, I'm in C3 now. Press the home key and I'm in A3. So what is the function, or what is the role of a home key? So it takes you to the first column towards the same row, right? Look here, if suppose you are in D3, you will be taken to the first column, which means A, but along with the same row. So if you are in D3, you will be in A3. So you have to move along with the same row to the first column. So suppose you are here in C7, you have to move along with the same row to the first column, which means you will be in A7. Clear? So this is home key. Right. Now look at the active cell C5. Right? The active cell is C5. Let's press the home key along with control key. Right? Control and home key. Now I am in A1. Check again. This time we are in E4. Control home. Again A1. This time I am in B6. Let's press the control and home again. I'm in A1. So don't forget, control plus home takes you to the first cell, which means A1. Doesn't matter wherever you are, right? You may be in any cell in the worksheet. It may be B2, it may be C5, even it may be XFD something, XFD5 or something. When you press Control and Home, definitely you will be taken to the first cell, which means A1. Okay, so if it is Home, you will be taken to the first column along with the same row. That is the role of the Home key. But when it comes to Home plus Control, we will be taken to the first cell, right? Have a look at these descriptions. Home key to move to column A along the row where the active cell is. I repeat it, to move to column A along the row where the active cell is. Okay. Control plus Home to go to the cell A1 from any cells, right? Then we have two keys on a keyboard called page up and page down. Have a look at this. I'm talking about these things. PG up, which means page up. PG down, which is page down, right? Page up, page down. These are also useful in working spreadsheet, right? So let's use them, right? Look at the worksheet now. I want to reduce the zoom size. Have a look at this, right? Now look at the worksheet. You can see 13 rows in this screen, right? On this particular screen, you can see 13 rows at the moment because the zoom is slightly increased, 184. That's why you can see 13 rows. But if your zoom is too small, then it is possible to see 50 or 60 rows. Okay, now look here. We have 13 rows, right? Okay, let me press page down key, page down. Now what happened? Now look at the number. Earlier it was 1 to 13, now 13 gone. Now 14 to 26. Okay, 1 to 13 means at the time or at a time 13 rows are visible. But when I press page down, right? Now we are down, right? And now 14 to 26 rows are there. So what happened was that that particular sheet, came down at one screen, right? Now see, you have 26. So if I press page down further, I can take the row from 27, right? Let me press page down again. Look here, 27 to 39. So now we are moving towards down, right? The page, every page is taken from down part, right? So that is page down. Suppose if I want to go to the up part, right? Upper part. So just press page up. So now look here, 27 to 39, right? Rows are there. So if I press page up, now I can have 14 to 26. So now I just jumped, right? So if I press page up again, I can have the first screen. So this is the reason why we use page up and page down. Okay, have a look at these descriptions. Page up to move the worksheet one screen up, right? Page down to move the worksheet one screen down. This is the screen, right? Now I have 13 rows in my screen. So if I press page down, I will be down, which means the screen goes down. There we have another 13 rows. But if I reduce the zoom size, now look here, I have 25 rows. It is possible to view 25 rows. So what happens if I press page down? I'm pressing the page down. Now look here, 26 to 50. Okay, so doesn't matter you increase the zoom or decrease the zoom, it works. Okay, page down and page up. Right. The next one, very important. Look here. So I want to randomly enter some data there. I enter them as scattered here and there I enter. Okay, look here. Now the active cell is B4, right? The cell pointer is in B4, so it is active cell. Let's press the control key and end, right? So we have a key called end. So with control key, I want another shortcut, control plus end. Okay, let's try it. So I press the control key and end. So where am I now? I'm in E5 now. Okay. Let's check again. This time the active cell is B1, right? B1. I'm going to press control end again. This time also I am in E5. Okay, let's try one more. I'm in D9, right? So if I press control end again, I'm in E5. Wait, I will I want to make some changes there. After that, I will make a conclusion. So now let's type a figure here. Okay. So this is the active cell A4. Let's press the control end again. Control end. Now this time we move here, right? F5. Right. Try again. I am in D1 now. Control plus end. I'm here. Right. So let's check once more. So we are in C8. Press the control end. I'm here. So what does it mean? Look, it's very simple. So if you press control and control and end, you will be taken to the last cell, which means the last cell in the right side in a particular cell range. I repeat it, control plus N takes you to the last cell in a cell range, right? So look at the cell range. Now the data are here and there. How to make a cell range? So all these data must be included in a cell range. So just draw a rectangle. Look here, this is the cell range. You need to include this number, this number, this number, this one, and all these numbers must be included. So better draw a rectangle, right? You cannot use other different shapes, triangle or some other things. You need to have a rectangle shape because cell ranges are always horizontally or vertically. So definitely that looks like a rectangle or square, right? So if you want to draw a rectangle, you can easily find. Note your rectangle must include all the figures. So, okay, suppose if I draw the rectangle like this, now see this 89 is missed. So now 89 must be included. So look here. Now what happens? 54 missed. So let's go further. So this is the cell range. What is your first cell? This one, C3. What is your last cell? F5. So if you press control and end, you will be taken to the last cell in the range. So control plus end, I press this, okay? It is in A5. Doesn't matter wherever you are, right? So even I'm in H1. If I press control end, I'm here. Okay, let's make a change now. Okay, let's type a value here. Okay, now look at the cell range. Now this 78 should be included, right? Included in your range. Now draw a rectangle. This is your cell range. It's very simple, right? Just draw a rectangle in order to include all your figures, right? Now, if I press control and end, I must be taken to the last cell in the range. What is the last cell in the range? F6. Have a look at this. Control end. Here, right? F6. Again, control end. F6. Have you understood? So this is the next one. Control end to move to the bottom right cell of the data range. Bottom right cell means last cell in the range. Okay, bottom, because always the bottom right cell is the last cell in the range, right? So it's simple. We can say that it moves to the last cell in the range. Okay. So these are the shortcut keys. I didn't explain arrow keys because we can understand every arrow key. These are the arrow keys, right? Every arrow key takes you to the next cell. So if it is, look here, I am in B1. If I press right arrow key, right arrow key, I will be in C1. Right side, towards right side to the next cell. If I press the down arrow, I must be to the next cell, which is in the next row, which means C2. If I press the left arrow, I will be moved to the left side, which means B2. Okay, if I press the up arrow key, I will be taken to the top part, which means B1. So they are arrow keys. Then home key, I explain control plus home, control plus left arrow, control plus right arrow, control plus down arrow, control plus up, page down, and control plus end. Okay, so these are the important shortcut keys to be remembered. Of course, these are important for exams too, right? In the past, questions were asked about shortcut keys. Okay, right. Then, okay, then we need to start that another important part here called operators. As I told you earlier, spreadsheet is for performing calculations. We need to perform calculations. For performing calculations, we need some operators, right? Even in mathematics, right? In mathematics, you know, for performing some operations, you need to have some operators. So even in spreadsheet also, we need operators. So for example, see, according to the mathematics, if I want to add 5 and 10, listen to me. If I want to add the numbers 5 and 10, according to the mathematics, this is the format to be followed. You need to write your figures in two sides and keep your operator in between, right? So this is called operator, because this can do an operation. So what is the operation which can be done by this plus? Addition operation. So since it can perform an operation, it is called operator. So what are these two figures, 5 and 10? These are called operands. It's maths, right? Not spreadsheet or not ICT, right? According to mathematics, an operator is in between two operands. This is an operand. This is another operand. Look here. Look at the place where that plus is. It is in between two operands. So suppose if I want to subtract, right, 5. If I want to subtract 10 from 5, this is the format, 5 minus 10. So what is minus? That is operator. That minus operator is for subtraction operation. So what are these two things, 5 and 10? They are operands. So this is how we follow in mathematics, right? Mathematics uses such format. Even in spreadsheet also, we need to follow such format. Okay. So in the next class, we will take the most commonly used operators in spreadsheet. Spreadsheet may have many, but we are not going to take all the operators. We will have to take some of the most commonly used operators and apply them in the worksheets. Okay, so I will explain them later. Enough for today. So maybe in the next few classes, I try to take both units parallelly, grade 11 first unit as well as spreadsheet, because spreadsheet is something very important. So if I don't teach that regularly or in a regular interval, sometimes it is tough to remember or remind. So maybe for the next 1 or 2 class, I try to conduct the spreadsheet for taking some things. At least if we are halfway through, then we can go back and take the spreadsheet, grade 11 syllabus. But at least we need 2 more classes to get some ideas, right? So it would be the next class also to be allocated for grade 10, right? So enough. We will meet in another class. Okay, thank you.